All right, welcome to the final episode of the Would You Rather mini-series. We have some good ones today. You're going to want to make sure to stick around to the end because this last one, it really threw Elliott for a loop when I proposed it to him as a question for this episode. So
good is a relative term here when we're talking about these questions, Matt.
I thought it was a good question. I thought it was fun, and it really threw you for a loop. So I'm excited to watch you process this live
I think
on
my
the
brain's
podcast.
broken still.
Yeah, he was doing fine until this question, and then I seem to have lost some steam over there. But
Let's start it off.
He'll get through it. All right, we'll start with the easy one. Easier.
Easy.
Would you rather own real estate with 5 family members, not of your choosing, or invest your life savings into a business with 5 strangers?
Do you have something off the top of your head, Matt? Are you leaning one way or the other?
5 strangers, 100%.
Okay. Why do you go that route?
Number one, not a big fan of real estate investing. So, real estate can just be a pain. I guess we could view my 8-person HOA as a very dysfunctional 7 family members. So that wouldn't be fun. I've seen a lot of just that nightmare estate planning things too, where people don't get along or people have different visions for this piece of property, and property is notoriously challenging to divide up when people aren't on the same page. A business can be too, but I feel like it will either just fail and not be a problem, or it'll be successful enough where at least it's providing some amount of value to my life. And I think family things are just messy. So there's a lot more at play there. Whereas the strangers, sure, I don't know them, but if we're forming a business together, we must have some relative idea of what we're going to do and how it's going to work. And perhaps there's some reasons that we're working together. I think that's where I'll leave that one. What about
I'm
you?
just picturing 5 random strangers across the U.S. that got dropped in a space with totally different skill sets working on a business with you.
Well, I wouldn't call you a stranger, but we did start a podcast together. We've kind of been in a group of starting our businesses together, even though we're not one business. I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I'm going with the same answer. I'm going to put the parameters, or my vision on this is that there's probably more structure around the business than there is with the real estate with family members. I'm just going to assume business-wise, you're going to have an operating agreement. People are going to have different titles or roles, and there will be some structure about how you make decisions. Whereas I feel like anytime you have real estate, there should be, but there rarely is any structure, any sort of operating guidelines. It's just a free-for-all. Everybody has a difference of what they want to have happen. So I love my family too. Nothing wrong there. I just feel like that would be problematic. Same with you. I don't love operating real estate either. So I'm going to go the business route, and hopefully it does really well, or it just crashes and burns really quickly, and then you're on to the next thing.
Yeah. I did put the life savings piece in there though, but I'm of the opinion, if I needed to make money, I think I could find a way to do it. So the real estate can be just as big of a money pit and a lot more of a headache, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both going the business route with strangers.
So we're 1 for 1 on agreeing here. I think this is really fun. Would you rather gamble $10,000 at a casino, or let our WallStreetBets invest $10,000 for you? And just to give some context to the listeners, by no means am I advocating you go to our WallStreetBets and prescribe to any of their ideas, but they do tend to be rather creative and ambitious with some of their investment plays. So I'll leave it at that, Elliott.
I think I need a clarifying question to answer this one.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe a couple. Where are we in the market cycle, or what is generally happening in the world / stock market?
I don't think that's a fair. I don't think that's a fair question. We just had an episode like 3 weeks ago, Elliot. Like we don't time the market anyways. Remember?
Well, we're making up stuff here, so I'm going to try to time it with this.
And this is also our Wall Street bets, so like they're going to be a little bit wacky anyways in terms of like what they're trying to do. They're going to be trying to bet against most likely what's going on. So you're going to have some contrarian in there anyways. I don't know if that would even help you.
I'm going to go with the Wall Street bets.
Okay.
I think for a couple different reasons. One, like I've been to a casino before. I'm willing to lose maybe $50 at a casino. That's fine. It doesn't like, I'm not happy about it, but I can't like 10 grand, I think was the question.
Yeah.
10 grand would be, oh man, losing 10 grand at the casino. That would be very tough for me to stomach. Now I know it's not a guaranteed loss, but it's an expected loss, at least of a good amount of it. At least with the Wall Street bets, it's going to be a far out, wild, strange, probably investment that someone suggests, but it does have some potential to make money. And if we're not talking about purely options and we're just talking about some investing, depending on the time frame, it could do okay. I'm going to take the possibility that leaves me with more money, or at least a more enjoyable ride or fun to watch situation.
Wait, you said no options?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do options, but maybe it's a way.
They do a lot of options in there.
I know that. I'm hoping that maybe
nothing uncovered. So you're not going to be like unlimited loss scenario here. Yeah.
So I'm still going with the Wall Street bets in that. I think it'd be a more entertaining ride. When I was younger, I gave myself what I would call one foolish trade a year, just to like, that was my form of gambling. I never did a lot. It was a small percentage, but it helped remind me when I needed it of like why I don't do those things, because most of the time it didn't make any money and it was entertaining to watch in the meantime, right? Like it was sort of just a gamble, but it lasted longer than I put it on black, or I went and did cards and was out of money within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm going with that. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, if I think about my potential ROI on the $10,000, I mean, I think I'd go Wall Street bets. Like, again, I'm saying potential, not expected, right?
Yeah.
That could definitely be a life-changing amount of money, whereas I don't think if I go play $10,000 at I doubt. I don't know. That's an interesting statistical question. Like, what's more likely, a jackpot on a slot machine or hitting it on Wall Street bets? I don't know. Who knows? But I would probably go. I would just view the Wall Street bets as a very bad business investment. Like the odds of like the next startup being, like investing in the right startup are astronomically low, and the odds of me doing well on the Wall Street bets are low. But I'd probably agree with you. I mean, if it was like maybe $1,000, I might have a different opinion. I don't know why, but like, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't expect like a life-changing sum from $1,000 play on the stock market, but I could be wrong.
Entertainment at the casino at that point.
Yeah,
at 1,000.
Go have a good time.
Does $1 million change it?
Yeah, I don't think you get. I guess where I'm going with this is I viewed the stock market as more of a leverage play. Like, right, the right move on an option bet could be. I mean, if you're investing $1 million, that could be hundreds of millions of dollars, right? It depends how crazy you want to get. Or
sure.
I mean, dare I say $1 billion? Like that'd be a little too crazy.
I don't think there's enough volume there.
No. But maybe. I don't think you'll ever. I don't know. Like I don't even know what the biggest jackpot is in Vegas slots. Like I just don't think the leverage is there, and I don't think your odds are that much better. I could be wrong though.
I mean, what if you're just you're placing the $1 million, 10,000, whatever we're talking about, and you're putting it on?
That's true. Like black.
Like what? Like black your leverage, right? Is I mean, I'm not a gambler. It's 2 to 1, right? Roughly.
Yeah. There's 2 green spots, I think, but
So not exactly, but
Yeah.
essentially you could double your money in one go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually
That's pretty
crazy.
significant leverage, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about roulette, but that is kind of putting it all on black. So yeah, I don't know. I think $1 million though, like that's a lot to leave up to one spin of a wheel, isn't it? I don't know. I guess
What's your final answer? What are you going with then?
I would go Wall Street bets. I think
Okay.
I think there's a better chance if I'm gonna blow $10,000. I think there's a better chance of it being life changing money versus what, I don't know, like a couple $100 return. I don't know. What
Okay.
are you locked in on Wall Street bets as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going for that.
Okay. Again, not advice. All right, this is the one that really racked Elliott's brain, and for those of you watching on YouTube, like I'm excited for you to see his brain break again. This one it'd be interesting to hear what my clients say too, but I'm not going to ask them this question. Would you rather be notified only when your portfolio went up, or only when it went down? And by this, I mean like you're getting like a daily notification on your phone that it either went up or down, but not any information about the extent.
Yeah. When Matt asked me this question, I just swore because I'm going with neither. I'm opting out of both notices. I'm not going to listen to either one of them. So you pick one. I'm not going to look at my phone though for it. I think that's where that's my workaround for this. Because here's my rationale. I'm not picking down because I don't know the extent that it went down. I also don't want negative news being the only thing I ever get from my portfolio. Like mentally, that's not a great place to be. But going up, I also don't necessarily want to do that because then on the days that I don't get a notification, I know it went down, but I don't know by how much. I don't know if I'd ever be out of money or what has happened.
Would it change? That's interesting.
So I'm going no notifications.
Would it change if you knew how much? Because you're still in the dilemma of either knowing up or down. If you knew how much it was going up or down, though, would that change your answer?
I think it would. I think then I would pick down.
Okay.
Because the only thing that I'm really worried about is, do I have no more money left? Because I'm assuming I don't like know how I'm invested or anything like that. I'm just sort of playing ignorant.
Now I need to add it. I know we're going way deep here, but like I need to add the context. You're only going to know percentage points what it's gone down, not dollar amounts. So you can't like meta your way out of this question and know like how much dollars you have left.
Well, no, I can calculate it, right? I know what I started with, and then I know percentage wise.
Yeah, but you don't know if it went up or down.
Oh, that's true.
Or you don't know if it went the opposite. Well, you'd know it went up, but you wouldn't know how much.
Then I take it back. I'm opting out. I'm just
No,
opting
you can't
out.
opt out, Elliott.
I opt out. It wouldn't be, but I could. You can send the notification, and then I ignore the notification, right? Don't we have that free will on our phones?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ignore it. I don't want up or down.
See, I'm gonna take a much more simple approach to this question.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna choose up because based on what I know, right? I didn't make any assumptions about your knowledge or lack thereof of the market. Like I know, typically speaking, the market goes up, not necessarily days wise, but like it typically goes up more than it goes down. And so I'm just going to lean. I don't want the negative news either, but I'm just going to lean on the fact that typically, if you look at the charts, what direction does it go? It goes up and to the right. And so that's what I'm going to rest on. That's my answer.
I would do that if it were like 5-year time periods, but I don't want the daily stuff.
Well, but does it matter? What I'm boiling this down to, Elliot, is I don't think the daily notifications matter because
it would though, because you're going to get them on a daily basis and you're either like, you're going to be concerned or happy about it. It's the same reason like we don't log in, or a lot of people shouldn't log in on a daily basis to look at their portfolio, because that frequency of that data is not good. It's kind of like our house, right? Everybody's like, oh, my house value went up. It's because you don't really ever pay attention to your house value.
Well, right, but people don't pay attention to it, and they really only tell us. They only talk about when it goes up, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
in
but
that,
imagine if your house had like a ticker. It was like your house value went up today or down. Like every time you got home, you saw that.
well, yeah. So why wouldn't you just want the up notifications? That's where I'm confused.
I wouldn't want it on a daily basis though, because then I still know like, oh, on the days I didn't get it, it went down, or I don't know how much it went up or
That's
anything
fair.
like that. Whereas if I just don't get any notification, we're back to the ignorance is bliss.
That wasn't an option though.
That's the option. Well, no, it is because you can still send me the notification. You can default into
That's
one.
that's semantics, Elliot.
I'm just getting rid of that notification.
Anyways, I thought you would take this to a completely academic, reasonable space where, like,
Nope. This one's 100% emotional.
well, look at that. I learned something new about you today, Elliot.
Yeah, like I get markets go up more often than not. And that's why I said like 5 years I would take this because it's not the frequency of information. Like I'm in a stage where I'm trying to cut out a bunch of noise and that sort of thing. And I think that would be very noisy to get that on a daily basis
Yeah,
or, whenever you're supposed to get them.
that's fair. I agree. I'm not advocating for daily notifications. If
You
that
actually picked an answer though, which is much better.
if that's like actually a feature for some of these apps, like for those of you listening, shut it off. Like seriously, like shut it off. It's not good for you. Elliot's right. Like you should do it, Elliot says, even though he was a bummer in this conversation and didn't choose an answer, but you should shut those notifications off.
But keep any notifications on about
this
withdrawals
podcast
from accounts or that thing or this podcast. That's a better answer.
But yes, withdrawals, it's a good, for security features and all that things, but also turn on notifications for the podcast. So on that note, if you have any would you rather questions, we'll definitely, this was fun. I liked doing these few episodes. So if you have any good would you rathers, or I don't know, maybe they're pertaining to your current situation, like would you rather spend $10,000 on a vacation right now or make another contribution to your retirement? I don't know, it's kind of a lame one, but if you have those questions, send them into the podcast and we'll definitely talk about them. Anything else from your end, Elliot? Any closing soapbox for no notifications or anything like that?
Soapbox, I don't know. I enjoy these conversations. I think it speaks to the heart of there's not a right or wrong answer in a lot of situations. Like Matt and I have agreed wholeheartedly on some, disagreed on others, been somewhere in the middle on some of them. And it just goes to show like how you grew up with money and your experiences and all those things impact that. So don't feel bad about how you feel about money or anything like that. It's there for a reason.
Yeah, and you could probably learn a lot about your friends and family if you ask them these questions too. So could be a fun conversation starter. Wouldn't that be fun, Elliot, with our financial planner group here in Madison? Get 7 or 8 of us in a room and deliberate on some of these. That could be fun.
That'd be good. Or just a dinner party with friends.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to see you, Elliot, and I'll see you next time.
Enjoy.